Shalom, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. And I just wanted to do a lesson based upon a few comments that I've been getting as we address these particular doctrines that are off, and do these videos where we have to address particular thing camp leaders say. You still have Israelites, maybe you're new, who express your displeasure with us addressing these camps, and these camps may be addressing us. And it rubs you the wrong way. You think that it's putting a negative, stain on the gospel, on the ministry. And my question to you all is, what in the hell, all right, did you think you were going to see or hear, all right, when you woke up to the fact that you're an Israelite and you say that, I found the truth, all right? As Yahweh Shai said concerning, John the Baptist, all right, who was the forerunner, to preach of his coming. He went to the wilderness and, many followed him over there. He was so powerful, and, his words, were, they cut, even when particular, scribes and Pharisees showed up to his baptism. John the Baptist was like, who in the hell warned you to flee from the destruction that was to come? Because he knew they wasn't right. But as the followers went and seen John the Baptist in the wilderness, a lot of them were surprised at how rough around the edges he was. They were surprised, at his clothing. So Yahweh Shai said this concerning John the Baptist. All right, John the Baptist, cursed out Herod, for proclaiming himself to be a Jew, but breaking the laws. Like, John the Baptist was a straightforward, rough around the edges, manly man. All right. And when you read Matthew, the 11th chapter and the 7th verse, Yahweh Shai says this: as they departed, Yahweh Shai began to say unto the multitude concerning John the Baptist, what went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? All right. But what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment, which means expensive clothes. Behold, they that wear expensive clothing are in kings' houses. All right, because, our people have this perception that, the men of the Lord are supposed to come, a particular way, because the God of this world have blinded their minds. All right. But what went ye out to see? A prophet? Yea, I say unto you, and more than a prophet. For this is he of whom it is written, behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. All right. And we enter into his stead. All right. As John the Baptist, Elijah the prophet, was at the forefront of our ministry, which he came back in these times as well, in the 60s. All right. Which is prophesied in the Holy Scriptures through a man who we believe through faith by the name of Abba Bivens. And the ministry has ultimately, stemmed from that up until what you see today. And the prophets are back. The true church of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is back. And when you read in the scriptures, there was always controversy between the church of Yahweh Shai, all right, and other churches. All right, the Apostle Paul is a great example of that. As he told you, let's get 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter. When you read the book of Acts, all right, because, we're tired of seeing those comments. I mean, we here it is, you have camps telling you that Apostle Paul's writings aren't the word of God, and we're supposed to just sit back and not address that, knowing how simple that our people are, because there's many Israelites to where that's not a big deal to them. But then they say they listen to us, they listen to them. I listen to all of the camps. Well, you're going to be held accountable for what you allow. You see? And the prophets, the men of the Lord, you got camps telling you we don't know the name of the Lord. Camps telling you all manner of things. John the Baptist, who Yahushua just spoke of, you got camps telling you he's not a man of the Lord. He wasn't in the truth. So what are we supposed to do? All right. And when we do address these things, all right, a lot of you individuals who are watching, you think that, this is nothing different than a gang. But have you read the Bible? Have you read the book of Acts? Have you read the book of Jeremiah? Was there not always back and forth between the men of the Lord who were ordained by the Most High and those false prophets? Absolutely there was. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, in the 19th verse. Let's see here. Let's start at 18. I'll read it in the NLT. First, I hear that there are divisions among you when you meet as a church, and to some extent I believe it, but of course there must be divisions among you, so that you who have God's approval will be recognized. All right? So heresies pop up, which the term heresies, as you go into it, all right, we bring these things out all of the time. But the question is basically, what did you all expect to hear and see when you found out the truth? You found out you were an Israelite. You found out men were teaching the truth, which means the true church of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has been raised up here in these latter days, pursuing the prophecy. What did you think that you were going to witness? What exactly do you all expect to happen? You think that it's just going to be this go along to get along? As much as I would love for all Israel to be on one accord, but that's not going to be the case according to prophecy. Okay, when Yahushua, there's going to be differences of opinions. There's going to be back and forth. You're going to have particular camps, saying, the resurrection didn't happen. You're going to have particular camps saying there is no reincarnation. You're going to have particular camps saying that the New Testament is false. We shouldn't follow it. The Messiah is an idol. You're going to have all of these differences of opinions within this awakening. All right. Now, the word heresies is heresies, and I'll just get to the point. Body of men following their own tenets, sect or party, Sadducees, Pharisees, the followers of Yahushua, dissensions arising from diversity of opinions and aims. Look up the word dissensions. A disagreement that leads to discord. You're going to have these things happen, man. So it's best if you just don't comment those comments, because ultimately you're coming up against this is the Lord's doing. Where there's just not a bunch of disgruntled Israelites who get a kick. You don't think we get tired of addressing these things, but we do it because we know that, as Paul said, I'm jealous over you with godly jealousy, right? As the Most High, looks at the church as a bride, it is our job to keep that bride faithful up until his arrival. Okay? Now, let's see what the so-called scholars say, because maybe you'll believe it if an Edomite says it. You think that we're just some ruthless, warmongers who just, get a kick out of, bothering people. No, we're doing these things because Jake is going off. Read the book of Acts. That's what a lot of you don't read enough. You need to read the Bible and really internalize that very church that was started by Yahushua, which, the apostles, eventually Apostle Paul, those very churches are back today. So they're going to undergo the same persecution, the same arguments. All right. The same things that ultimately were happening back then are happening now. 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter and the 19th verse. Let's get it real quick and see what is said here. It says, "For there must be heresies among you. This is a reason why he was ready to believe that there might be some truth to the report he received of the divisions amongst them. For if there were heresies, false doctrines, and bad principles among them, such as were subversive of the fundamentals of the followers of Yahushua," which it says Christianity, but Yahushua never set up a following called Christianity or a religion called Christianity. They were followers of Hamashiach, the Messiah, the Mashiach, Messiah. As the denial of the resurrection of the dead, you have these type of people popping up amongst the church talking about it wasn't no resurrection of the dead. That led to arguments. Okay? Paul wrote letters. Letters were written to correct these things. 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter goes into that. Okay? Today we do videos. Okay? It was no wonder that there were schisms and factions among them, since heresies generally issue in them. These, the Apostle Paul says, must be because God has decreed they shall, whose counsel is immutable. The Lord set this up. Do you realize, all right, when you see us do a video, or when you see a particular camp pop up just saying some craziness, which camps are saying some crazy things, man. The Lord he wants that to happen. He put the spirit on that particular camp to say those things, but then he puts the spirit on us to correct those things so that you who are watching can know who has the truth, man. And you can be without excuse. Because you're not going to be able to say, well, you didn't know. Well, the Lord showed you. And we do many videos that don't have anything to do with other camps. But sometimes that season arises to where the men of the Lord, all right, have to, because you think we want to do these things? Of course we want to, because ultimately the Lord set us up and this is a part of our mission. But if the flesh had its way, we would just be chilling. But we're not here to walk in the flesh. We're here to walk in the spirit, man. Okay? It says, these, the apostle says, must be because God has decreed they shall, whose counsel is immutable, and his purpose is unalterable. The Lord has set up false arguments, false prophets. Okay? He set them up. That's in the book of Ezekiel. If a prophet speak a thing, all right, that is off, I, the Lord, set up that prophet, and I'm going to destroy him for speaking those things. All right? And since this was always the case, that there were false prophets under the former dispensation, all right, and we're in the latter dispensation right now, right? The latter reign, it must be expected that false teachers will arise in the churches now, bringing in damnable heresies. And since Satan is always busy to sow the tares of false doctrine, and human nature being both weak and wicked, and so susceptible thereof, and easily imposed upon and deceived, it cannot be thought that it should be otherwise, which by the goodness and wisdom of God are overruled to a very good purpose, that they which are approved, who sincerely believe in Yahushua HaMashiach, are sound in the faith. So the Lord allows heresies to pop up, differences of opinions, arguments, right? So that they which are approved, who sincerely believe in Yahushua, are sound in the faith and are well grounded and experienced of it, who have themselves tried things that differ and approve of them that are excellent, and have been tried by others and found to be sincere, upright, faithful, and approved by God. Okay? May be made manifest among you by their steadfastness in the faith, their zealous attachment to it. Okay? You're seeing the zealous attachment to the faith by the men of the Lord doing these videos. We have a zeal, all right, according to knowledge. A lot of our people have a zeal that's not according to the knowledge of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, and that's not okay. Those things have to be addressed. If you have a group of individuals telling you the Apostle Paul's writings are not the word of God, he's not speaking to the law and the testimony. When Paul quoted the Old Testament 180 something times, the men of the Lord have to address that, because you may have a sheep, okay? Because sheep are extremely simple. A sheep will go astray purposely. So it is our job to what? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, put the truth out there so that you are without excuse. So you heard it from a so-called white man scholar, so maybe then it will make sense to you. We're not just making these things up, okay? There must be heresies amongst you, okay? Luke 7:1, then said he unto the disciples, it is impossible that offenses will come, but woe unto him through whom they come. So offenses are going to come. 1 Timothy 4:1, now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits. So if there's seducing spirits out there, okay, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron, which when you read what he was going to go into, all right, it was basically people popping up saying you can't eat lawful meats, we can't eat meat. You got that doctrine coming back here today, okay, that you can't give in to me, you can't have a wife. All of these mindsets and different doctrines are back here today to you listeners, man. All right, and when we come at you hardcore, when you leave these, another thing, stop leaving comments on our videos telling we need to read these other books. We have the whole testimony with the Bible, all right, with the Apocrypha added, man. That's all we need. We got to get into the Book of Mormon. We got to get into the Book of Enoch. We're not into that. All right? We're not into those books. Don't put that on our comment board, because you basically, that's like your ass going to McDonald's bigging up the Whopper, which, of course, we don't eat those things. It's just an example. I don't eat those things. We don't promote you should eat those things, because that's all garbage. You should eat the best of the worst. Eat, but you don't go to your job promoting the another agenda of another company. Take this, y'all got to start taking this truth serious, man. This y'all this young-minded, willy-nilly mentality about what's happening and what the Lord has set up, and the lack of respect and reverence you have for the men who the Lord set up, man. We've been doing this work, man. We're the ones that have been in the trenches on the front lines. We're the ones who the Lord has instilled the truth in to address these particular things. So just because you in your field, oh my God, Sakari against GMS, here we go again. Well, don't watch the video. Because clearly right here, Paul, Acts 20 and 30. Well, Peter here, 2 Peter 2:1. But there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who shall privily bring in damnable heresies. Are not you seeing these damnable heresies being entered into the churches, into the doctrine? Men, read the book of Jude. Oh my God, read Jude. Read James. People are being addressed. False teachers, false prophets, people who were amongst the church and who got kicked out or left and took the apostles' doctrine and ultimately tried to, establish their own, ministry, and, the bad talk the apostles and act like they came up with the truth on their own, but add this and that, add Greco-Roman gods and ideologies like Lucifer, which the Lucifer in the book of Isaiah is symbolic of a man. It's talking about a man, but through what? These particular churches that have popped up, what have they done? They've incorporated Greco-Roman gods and idols into the Bible. We have to address these things. There is no god of the underworld named Lucifer who's waiting on you with a pitchfork and a slick back. Okay? No, that's just not true. And it's our job to give you warning, man. You see, as Paul said right here, I mean, I don't know if maybe y'all didn't read this, or maybe y'all thought that this just applied to Paul and that those who have entered into their works, because the scriptures tell us this, right? So stop leaving those comments, or just don't leave the comment at all. And if you see we starting to talk about another camp and addressing the false doctrine, just click off the video. Ephesians 2:20, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles, the prophets, Yahushua himself being the chief cornerstone. All of the prophets had to deal with other Israelites. They openly said their names. They openly condemned them. What do you think the church of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to be doing today? That same concept is going to happen. And those who we deem to be false prophets are going off. They're going to have negative things to say about us. You can't have, you can't come into this thing and think that this just going to be some, love affair. No. Things are going to happen. Things are going to get addressed. It's going to be like that. But the purpose is that the elect, all right, and those who the Lord have chose from the foundation of the earth have the ability to see what is true, and it resonate with them. As the scriptures say, receive ye the engrafted word that is able to save your souls. That's what true education is, meaning it's already in you. You just have to hear and be put in a particular situation for it to be drawn out. That's what educate means, to be educated. So because you get something and well, there may be somebody who doesn't get it, who needs to hear that particular message. And we see the scriptures told you many are going to follow the pernicious ways of the error, those who are going off in the gospel. So our job is to counteract that, man. So what in the hell did you all think you were going to see? What went ye out into the wilderness? Because this is now the wilderness, right? What do you think you're going to see? This is the prophet. This is who, here we are. Okay? It's going to be friction. You're witnessing. The scriptures say that the life of Yahushua be made manifest in his followers. Okay? So he was hated. He had to deal back and forth with debates. People popping up, trying to catch him up in his words. He cutting them with this. What do you think's going to happen with the followers? Read the book of Acts. Read Paul's writings. And if you have to have an NLT version nearby, that would help. Right? Acts 20 and 29. For I know this, that after my departing, after I die, after I go back to the spirit world, shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Okay? Their gods is going to be their belly. All right? And as Paul was talking about, I was reading 1 Corinthians, 10, 11, 12. Pretty much, you had that same thing back then. People popping up, and they were more of the world. So people, who were followers of Yahushua would tend, because they were coming out of these Greco-Roman ideologies and lifestyles, they would lean towards listening to these people who popped up with a difference of doctrine because of how fancy or flamboyant or boastful they were. So Paul is warning, all right, that men are going to pop up. Let's read verse 30 in the NLT. Even some men of your own group will rise up and distort the truth in order to draw a following. Are not we witnessing that right now? We just had a group of weirdos leave or get kicked out of GMS and started teaching all manner of evil and wickedness to draw a following after them. And now the following cursing their ass out. It broke up already. And they still want to hold on to the garbage that they were taught, but they see that the two weirdos who they were following, they see like, man, GMS, y'all was right about these niggas. Well, duh. Even of your own group will rise up people who will distort the truth in order to draw a following because they're mad They got kicked out or they leave or whatever happens, because things happen amongst men. But you still have to deal, all right, in order. Just because you get kicked out, that ain't the end of the world. But people make it the end of the world and they get bitter, they get hurt. So whatever, everything that they've learned and everything that they've been teaching for the last 20 years, 15 years, 14 years, they change it in order to rebel against the men who they learn from because they're hurt. And then they draw others to follow them in that hurt and bitterness. And these young people, young in the truth, no matter if you're an older man, you come into this thing, you're a babe, they don't know what the hell is going on. So they're just going to listen to the dude who left. But like we said, all them niggas, all they need is 3 visits amongst each other and they'll see what we were saying. And then it happened. My question is, how y'all breaking up in the new covenant? You in the new covenant, arguing, breaking up, apologize. Look, man, hey, man, the whole thing is wrong. But Paul says this, therefore watch out. Remember the 3 years I was with you, my constant watch and care over you, all right, night and day. So Paul, for 3 years, warned about false prophets, man. 3 years straight. So if y'all were there, y'all would be like, oh my God, Paul, he's talking about the false scriptures. No, man, stop. And we go keep doing the work. There's so much more to say. But Lord willing, we'll be back. I got to roll out. Shalom.